and welcome to Emma's ESL English. Today on the podcast, I thought I would share with you some of the questions that came from a student of mine. This student actually is the inspiration for this podcast. She always brings me very cool and interesting questions. I wanted to start by helping you guys decide what kind of questions you could bring me. My lovely student is currently reading an English novel. I noticed that a lot of the vocabulary that she was bringing to me seemed really familiar, and it felt like these were really common idioms that we might find in books. So I thought I would share some of those with you today. First one was to squeeze something out of someone. This kind of scenario that we might be looking at in a book is somebody who has a secret to tell, or a secret they don't want to tell, or somebody that has some money or something that they don't want to give up. Usually we're squeezing information out of somebody, but we can also squeeze stuff. If somebody owed you money, then you might want to squeeze it out of them. Of course, it does not mean that you literally squeeze the person. It's rather that idea that you're going to put pressure on them. Maybe you're gonna have a strong conversation with them, or maybe you're gonna tell their mom what they've been up to. So you're gonna do something that makes them feel probably super uncomfortable, so that they either tell you the secret or give you the money or whatever it is that you're wanting. When I was just talking about that, I had another idiom come to mind, which is spill the beans. When we've got a secret to tell, we often talk about spilling the beans. Of course, there are no beans, but we just mean to actually tell somebody something. The next one is to come to a screeching halt. The example I gave my student was from the movie Thelma and Louise. They go off the cliff. But if they didn't go off the cliff, if at the last minute they decided they didn't want to fly the car over the cliffside, they would put their foot on the brakes and the car would right to the edge of the cliff. So that is to come to a screeching halt. Literally. You could be really excited about telling somebody something and then you realize, oh, this is really an inappropriate story for this person. And so you might come to a screeching halt. In fact, there's nobody screeching at all. It just means that you are stopping what you're doing suddenly. The next one, her hopes were dashed. I really like this one. So, of course, it's very common. We have hopes and dreams about something. And dash, usually, if we talk about to dash, the verb, it means to go somewhere quickly. But in this case, we're talking about to dash, as in to smash something. I think this kind of dash really only works in this idiom. So if our hopes are dashed, it really means our hopes have been damaged irrevocably. Ooh, good word. There's no way back. They are broken. Next one, to have a send-off. Just means a party. We talk about, oh, she's leaving, let's give her a big send-off. So we can still have a good send-off if it's a funeral. If we mean that we're having a really good party for someone and they've passed away, that could still be called a send-off. We also have another idiom, knees up. I don't know, I kind of feel like that might be a very British idiom. Let's have a knees up. That means let's have a party. Why are our knees up? I have no idea. But anyway, it involves partying and drinking. Number 5, scared out of my wits. Usually when we're talking about wit, we're usually talking about good sense of humor. A good sense of humor if somebody is a witty person. But we also have a different kind of wit, scare the wits out of you, or scared witless. It means you're super duper extra scared. Although wit means sense of humor, your wits kind of means logic and common sense. 2 peas in a pod. My student is French, and what we've realised between the two of us is that the French have a lot of idioms around food, and the Brits have a lot of idioms around animals. But this is one of our food idioms, to be 2 peas in a pod. You know, the thing that peas grow in, that's called a pea pod. And obviously, they're all peas, so they all look the same. So it's the idea that you're very, very similar people. Not necessarily that you look the same, but that you have similar interests, similar ways of looking at the world, you just like each other, any kind of similarity like that. Somebody can say, you're two peas in a pod. He staggered home. Okay, stagger. We have several staggers. We can stagger something, meaning we're going to do a bit, wait a bit, do a bit, wait a bit. So we're not doing it all at once, but we're doing it over a period of time. But in this case, to stagger means a way of walking. So if you think of the Ministry of Funny Walks or Billy Connolly's walks, I will put those videos in the blog for you guys because they're too funny and you need to see them. You've all seen that person on the side of the road when they're walking home. You maybe have been that person who's walking home drunk and you can't keep up straight and you're not really walking sensibly or with any rhythm. We can say you're staggering. Let's do one more. I spotted a bluebird. Spotted means to see something. And actually, bird works really well here because we have a few other things that go with birds and bird watching. For those of you who live anywhere near the UK or know any UK people, you might already know we actually really like birds. And in my family, we love birds. In my family, we've all got bird feeders outside and we're all watching the birds avidly to see who's coming. This morning I had goldfinches on my feeder. It was very exciting. I phoned my mother to tell her we really like birds in the UK. So I could quite easily say I spotted a goldfinch on the feeder this morning, meaning I saw a goldfinch this morning. We also have two other words that go with this idea, but these are for people who are fanatics about something. So we can have a bird spotter and a twitcher. And both of those are kind of the same thing. Twitcher is a little bit more serious, actually. Twitcher kind of means it's a real hobby. Going on holiday to see birds. That's a twitcher. Bird spotter, maybe you just like happy to see them flying over as you travel somewhere. Another use of spotter we have is a train spotter. So that's people who love trains so much. I don't know if this is a thing in other countries, but in the UK there is a whole community around train spotting. So, train spotters, bird spotters, twitchers, and I spotted a goldfinch, which could just be someone who likes birds. Let's leave it at that. So these were some questions that we had from a student around common expressions that you might find in books or novels. I hope it was useful. And I am looking forward to hearing from you. So you can send your questions to me at emmaseslenglish@gmail.com. You can just go to my website, emmaseslenglish.com. On the website, I've actually started a blog that's going to line up with some of the podcasts that may have more information, pictures, videos to try and explain the ideas. I hope I hear from you soon. See you all next time. Bye.